All right, today we're going to dive deep into the architecture of what makes a truly great team. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the essential blueprint that every, and I mean every, successful organization uses to plan, build, and maintain a world-class workforce. And you know what? It all starts with one powerful idea.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to wonder about that? How do the absolute giants of industry, the Apples, the Googles, how do they do it? How do they seem to just consistently find the perfect people for the perfect roles year after year? Is it just some kind of magic? Dumb luck? Well, the real answer is way more systematic, and honestly, a whole lot more interesting.
That's right, it's a blueprint. Building a winning team is almost exactly like constructing a skyscraper. You don't just show up with a pile of bricks and steel and hope for the best, right? No way. You start with a detailed, meticulous plan, a blueprint. And in the world of HR, that blueprint is made up of a few critical, interconnected concepts that we're about to break down together.
So every great construction project has to start with surveying the land. You've got to understand the terrain, the soil, the challenges before you can even dream of laying a foundation. And in our blueprint for team building, this absolutely crucial first step is called job analysis.
Now, the key phrase here is critically evaluating. This isn't just a casual glance. Job analysis is a formal, almost scientific and systematic process. You're digging into every single relevant fact about a particular job. And here's a super important point. You can only analyze a job after it's been designed and someone is actually doing it. You're studying a job that's already in action to understand it inside and out.
So why go through all this trouble? Well, because this initial survey, this job analysis, is the bedrock for pretty much everything else in HR. It helps you map out clear career paths for people. It shines a light on training needs, so you know exactly what skills to build. It's the foundation for figuring out fair pay, what we call job evaluation. It sets crystal clear standards for performance reviews. Heck, it can even help settle disputes with objective data, and it literally keeps people safe by finding hazards. In short, it's absolutely fundamental.
Okay, now this is where people often get tripped up. The difference between job analysis and a job description. They sound similar, but they are completely different things. At its core, the distinction is really simple. Job analysis is a formal, detailed study. It's the process of investigation. A job description, on the other hand, is the statement you write up based on what you found during that study.
And that basic difference leads to everything else. The purpose of the analysis is really broad. It feeds into all those HR functions we just talked about. Its nature is that it's a process. The description, though, its purpose is way more specific. It's there to guide an employee's placement and training. Its nature is a static statement. So the biggest takeaway here is the sequence. You always do the analysis first. You have to survey the land before you can draw the map. Simple as that.
All right, we've surveyed the land with our job analysis. Now it's time to actually draft the architectural plans. This is where we create two documents that are often confused, but they serve totally distinct purposes: the job description and the job specification.
So, according to the expert, Filippo, a job description is an organized, factual statement. Think of this as the actual architectural blueprint for the building. It describes the building itself, what the job is. It details the title, the location, the tasks, the working conditions. Its main goal is to define the job and draw a clear line around it, separating it from every other role.
Now, if the job description is the blueprint for the building, then the job specification is the list of required materials. It's your shopping list. It doesn't describe the building, it describes what you need to build it. It's a statement about the person, not the job. It lists the minimum, and I mean minimum, acceptable human qualities like the physical, mental, and social characteristics someone needs to do the job right. And this slide just nails the difference. The job description is the what. It's about the contents of the job itself. Its purpose is just to define the role. The job specification is the who. It's all about the qualities needed in the person, their education, their experience. Its purpose is to help you find and hire the right person. And look at that sequence again. You have to define the job first with the description before you can list the qualities needed to do it with the specification. The blueprint always comes before the materials list. Makes perfect sense, right?
Okay, so we've surveyed the land and we've drafted the plans. Our building has a rock-solid structure. But nobody wants to live or work in an empty concrete shell, right? Now we have to think about the person inside the job. How do we make it engaging, motivating? This is the interior design phase where we look at two really powerful techniques: job enlargement and job enrichment.
Let's start with job enlargement. The key words here are adding variety. Let's say you work in a bakery, and your only job all day is to frost chocolate cupcakes. Job enlargement would be your boss saying,
hey, from now on, you're also going to frost the vanilla and the strawberry cupcakes. You see, you're doing more tasks, but they're all at the same level of skill. The whole point is just to reduce the soul-crushing boredom of doing one single thing over and over again.
Job enrichment, though, that's a whole different ballgame. As Keith Davis puts it, it's about adding motivators to make the job truly rewarding. So let's go back to our bakery. Job enrichment isn't about frosting more types of cupcakes. It's your boss saying, I want you to invent a brand new cupcake flavor, manage the budget for the ingredients, and then train the new bakers how to make it. See the difference? It's about adding real responsibility, autonomy, and challenge.
This slide lays it out perfectly. Think of job enlargement as horizontal loading. You're just expanding the job sideways, with more tasks of a similar type. The goal is to fight boredom. But job enrichment, that's vertical loading. You're adding layers of responsibility and control from above to make the job a real challenge. That means enlargement usually doesn't require new high-level skills, but enrichment almost always does. And here's the biggest difference: control. Enlargement doesn't really change the management structure, but enrichment, it empowers the employee with more autonomy, which means less need for a boss looking over their shoulder.
So far, we've designed one perfect building, one perfect job. But a great company isn't just one building, is it? It's an entire city. We need a master plan that looks at the whole workforce. So let's zoom out to the final piece of our blueprint, manpower estimation, which we'll also hear called manpower planning. This definition from Eric Vedder is just perfect. It frames manpower estimation as a strategic journey. It's about figuring out where you are right now with your team, figuring out where you want to be in the future, and then building the roadmap to get from point A to point B. It's all about having the right number of people with the right skills in the right places at the right time. It's the ultimate strategic HR process. So how do you actually do this? Well, it breaks down into two key dimensions. First, there's the quantitative part. How many people do we need? This is usually figured out through workload analysis. You calculate the total work that needs to get done, and you divide that by how much work one person can handle. Pretty straightforward. Then there's the qualitative side. What kind of people do we need? And this, my friends, is where it all comes full circle. Because the answer to that question is found in our job analysis and our job specifications, which tell us exactly the knowledge, skills, and experience we're looking for. And let me tell you, the payoff for doing this kind of master planning is enormous. It means you can actually fill your open jobs with qualified people. It helps you avoid the huge costs that come from either having too many people on staff or not enough people to get the job done. It makes future growth possible. It makes sure you're using the people you already have effectively. And it gives you the power to predict and control one of your biggest expenses, your labor costs. This is truly game-changing stuff.
So, we've gone on quite a journey, haven't we? We've gone from surveying a single plot of land with job analysis to drafting the plans, designing the interior, and finally, creating a master plan for the whole city. We've seen how each step logically builds on the one before it. So let's bring it all home.
Here's the most important thing to take away from all of this. These aren't just a bunch of random HR terms from a textbook. They are a deeply interconnected system, a powerful blueprint for success. Job analysis lays the foundation. Description and specification draft the plans. Enrichment and enlargement make the role a place where people can actually grow and thrive. And manpower estimation makes sure the entire organization is built to last. This is the blueprint that builds careers for people and drives real performance for the company.
And that leaves us with one final thought. When you look at your own company, or even just your own team, do you see the careful, deliberate work of an architect with a clear blueprint? Or, if you're being honest, does it sometimes feel like people are just guessing, just hoping all the pieces fit together? Because the difference between those two approaches is the difference between a leaning shack and a towering skyscraper.